Hello and welcome to another edition of Another Book Review. This week I'm reviewing Turbulence by David Szalay. I'll talk very briefly about the author, go into a spoiler-free overview of the plot, talk about what I liked about the book, what I didn't like about the book, who I'd recommend the book to, and finish off with what I will be reading for next time. David Szalay is an author primarily known for his work with the BBC, as well as some of his novels which have been nominated for fairly prestigious prizes. I believe one of his books was shortlisted for the Man Booker Award. He also was on several lists for authors under 40, best authors under 40. He currently lives in Budapest, and this book, Turbulence, started its life as a audio recording for the BBC, kind of 15-minute blocks. What the book is it's kind of somewhere halfway between a novel and a collection of short stories. There are 12 short stories that interlink. I would say this is closer to something like, if you've read Cloud Atlas, it's kind of similar to that in the sense that these stories have direct connection with one another. The stories share characters with other stories in the collection. So, and there's a linking theme of airports. So for instance, at the beginning of each of the short stories, there is an airport code. So for instance, it would be Heathrow Airport to Madrid, Spain. And in that short story, we'd have a connection to those two cities. So someone's traveling from Heathrow to Spain or vice versa. And one of the characters, who is a minor character in that story, will appear in the next story as the main character. And we see that pattern repeated throughout the book. So I thought that was an interesting concept. I think some of these stories here may resonate more than others. Most of the stories deal with a crisis, as you can imagine, as people are moving from country to country. Usually it's related to someone's health, so someone in a foreign country, a relative or a loved one who may be having some health issues. Some are just ordinary people. One of the characters, for instance, in one of the short stories is a pilot who's very lonely, and we kind of get his interaction with another person as he kind of deals with that loneliness. So I thought those things were interesting. It's a very, very short book. It's only about 150 pages. The thing that I didn't care for about the book is the stories. As I said before, some of them feel more weighty and more powerful than others. They tend to kind of run together. I wish there had been fewer stories, but they had been more complete. A lot of them feel like situations or set up to a story or a conflict, but because the stories are so short, you don't really get the full weight of them. For instance, one of the short stories deals with a woman who's contemplating leaving her husband, and that feels really resolved really, really quickly, in part, I think, due to the way that the book is set up. But if you enjoy things like the movie Babel, it reminded me of 21 Grams, anything like that, then you may enjoy this idea of, there is a sense of the theme of kind of being connected to other people through shared experiences as you kind of go from location to location and story to story. It does kind of create a tapestry of people and the lives of people as they kind of move through them. I thought that was interesting. I think that was well done. I just wish the stories themselves had been... Most of the stories feel like they're done in about 7 pages, and I think that if there had been, for some of the stories, a little bit more room to breathe, they would have had a little bit more weight and a little bit more personality. But it's a quick read. Ironically enough, I think it's really good for if you are at an airport, if you just need to pick something up and have something to read that's basically going to be the length of a flight. This is actually probably a pretty good use of that time, because the stories are pretty breezy. You can get through them pretty quickly. If the situation isn't interesting to you, you're through it by the time in the course of a few minutes. So that's Turbulence by David Szalay. I believe it's pronounced Szalay. I wish that there had been a little bit more weight to some of the stories, though I think the idea and concept is pretty interesting. And I think that he does a good job of using the theme and structure of the book to his advantage, I think, in a unique and interesting way. It is kind of somewhere between that novel and short story collection, which I thought was kind of novel, no pun intended, but that's Turbulence. Next time I'm going to be reading American Nation, a nonfiction work. So until next time, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and I'll have my Twitter link below if you want to follow me there. Until next time, bye.